Microsoft spent years promising a future where Copilot would be much more than just chat. It would be a true assistant capable of operating on our computer, organizing files, performing complex tasks, and working almost on its own. But before this actually happened on Windows, another well-known name in the AI world, Claude, was the one who showed up with this ready-made solution. The new Claude Cowork has just landed on Windows, bringing exactly this agent concept that many people expected from Copilot. Direct access to local files, execution of multi-step tasks, real automations in the system, and a workflow that's much closer to a digital colleague than just a simple chatbot. And this completely changes the way artificial intelligence interacts with our desktop. So here's the question. Did Anthropic just deliver what Microsoft has been promising for years? Well, before we answer that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And to watch the videos without ads, just click the join button. Deal? So let's get to the video. Well guys, today I want to share with you this news that was just announced by Anthropic. Cowork is now available for Windows. We're bringing full feature parity with macOS. Access to files, multi-step task execution, plugins, and MCP connectors. Let's take a look here at the blog. Shared workspace, listen up, update. Cowork is now available on Windows. Then they go on here. Cowork is now available for Windows with full feature parity with macOS. Access to files, multi-step tasks, plugins, and all MCP connectors. We're also introducing global and per folder instructions. Tell Cloud how you like to work. Preferred format or context for your role, and this will apply to all sessions. You can also set specific instructions for folders that will be activated whenever you're working in that folder. Update any of them directly in the chat. I'll show you how it works. To start using it on Windows, download the latest version of the desktop app at cloud.com/download. The link will be down below in the description of this video. Cowork remains in research preview and is available on all paid plans. In other words, if you have a free account, you can't use it, only on the Pro plan or higher. Then they provide some really interesting information here about this new system. I'll leave the link here in the description as well, in case you want to learn more about this topic. So, to start using it, as long as you have a Pro plan, just click the link that's going to be down here in the description of this video and download the app to your computer. Then just proceed with the normal installation process. It will be installed on your PC, which means it will run locally. Well, notice that now we have 3 tabs up here. The chat, which is where we have the usual conversation, just like we did before. The code, which is the cloud code, which we're already familiar with. And now this other tab here called Cowork. This is where I interact with my computer. So, it already gives you some options here to show the power of this tool. So, I can optimize my week, organize my screenshots, find insights in files. Then, by clicking here, more options appear. Clean up my downloads folder, organize photos by event and date, organize my inbox. And also, get ready for the next meeting, plan my next vacation, prepare for a job interview, and finally, catch up on Slack, turn voice notes into a document, and import data into a document. Of course, besides these suggestions, I can perform any kind of task using Cowork, such as renaming files, deleting files, moving files, and so on. In other words, it can access my entire system, as long as I give it permission to do so. So, let's get started. Before I begin, I need to choose the AI model that I'm going to use here in Cowork. There are 3 options: Opus 4.6, Sonity 4.5, and Haiku 4.5. So, if I want to spend fewer tokens, it's a good idea to use Sonity 4.5 here. Why? When I choose Opus 4.6 here, a message pops up. Opus uses up your limit more quickly. Try another model for longer conversations. So, if you intend to interact for a longer time, it's better to use Sonity 4.5 here. Otherwise, it's already telling you that your credits will go down the drain. Since I won't be using it much, I'll choose Opus 4.6 here. I'll select a folder from my computer to start this interaction. So, by clicking here, I choose the folder I want. It can be anyone from my PC. I'll pick my screenshot folder here, and now I'm going to ask for the following, using the prompt field here. delete the oldest files, and separate the images by extension. Why? Because I have JPG, PNG, and so on there. That said, just click here on Let's Go. You can see it already started the action here. It's sending the message. And I can follow everything in real time. It's saying here that it's looking at my folder, and I have a lot of files there. So, it might take a little while. Just so you have an idea, this is my screenshot folder. See that I really have a lot of stuff. Look, 547 files in total. 545 are PNGs, one is desktop.ini. Now it already asks a question here. Which files should be considered the oldest? What is the cutoff criterion? So, this is fundamental. Why? Because even though it has control here over my system, it asks me if I really want to do this. So, before deleting, it's asking me here what the criteria are. I'll say over 6 months here, then it asks another question. About separating images by extension, almost all of them are PNG. Do you want me to organize them by something else? By month or year, for example? I'm going to set it here by month and year. Just for demonstration purposes. The answer is already here. Perfect. I'm going to delete the files from before August 2025 and organize the rest into subfolders by month and year. An important note. For safety reasons, I can't permanently delete files. I'll move the old files to a folder called Old to Delete. So you can review and delete them manually if you want. So, that's really cool. Why? As I said earlier, even though he has control of my machine here, he tells me exactly what will be done and doesn't make decisions without me knowing first. Done. He finished the task here. Let's see how it turned out. Look, he really cleaned up my folder here. So now everything is categorized here by year and by month, and here I have old ones to delete. Check this out. All these images here can be deleted. Why? Because he ran the command, went there, saw which ones were the oldest, and put them inside this folder here. So, he didn't delete them permanently, but he separated them for me. And then, if I want to delete them, everything is right here. So, that's really cool, because he didn't make the decision without consulting me. Let's open a new task here. I'm going to select another folder. I'll come here to my documents. This folder here with invoices, I'll always allow it. And now, I'm going to ask it to do the following. Just so you have an idea of what's happening here, I have this folder here with several names, and it's very complicated. Why? Because it's all messy. I can't tell exactly what's inside each folder. So, let's organize this here. Rename the files in this folder, starting with the term NF2025, and I'll send it. So, just imagine if you have a folder with 200, 300, or 400 files, and you need to rename each one of them. If you had to do this work manually, how much time would you waste? But not here. You just need to select the folder, give the command here, and enter your prompt. And the artificial intelligence itself will organize everything for you without you having to do any manual work. Look, there are 45 PDF files in this folder. I'm going to rename them all to start with NF2025. Done, Gustavo. All 45 files have been successfully renamed. Let's take a look at how it turned out. I'll zoom in here. Look, all of them are NF2025, NF2025. NF2025, and so on. So, this is extremely useful because it saves a lot of time when you're working with folders full of files. Another very interesting thing is that by clicking here on the plus sign, I have the option to add files or photos. I can include a project. The connectors are really cool because I can ask it, for example, to connect to my Google Drive and organize everything there for me. So, let's see if it's working. I'll put it here. Look, search in Drive. I also have the option here to link the calendar, search in Gmail, and manage the connectors. So, here are several connectors that are available in case I want to set up this integration. Going back here, I'm going to ask the following: search the files in my Google Drive. Then it asks here if there's something specific. I'm going to say here Google Docs documents. I'll see if there's anything in there. It puts a script here. It asks me to allow it. I'll always allow it. So, this always happens the first time. If you always allow it, it won't ask again. Look, it's listing here. There are a lot of files there, so it's listing everything properly here for me. So, besides accessing all the local files here on my computer, I can also do this by integrating with my Google Drive. And as you saw there, it also works for the calendar. If you want to ask it to add an event, or even with your Gmail, to organize your inbox, for example. Look, it managed to find the files here. Now I'm going to ask the following. Rename each of them, putting the word Roteiro in front of the file names, and then I'll send it. Look, this is already a limitation. See what appeared. Unfortunately, Gustavo, the Google Drive tools I have available only allow me to search and read documents. I can't rename files directly through Drive, so it can do a few things settings through the browser, try to access Google Drive there, and rename the files manually. I can make a list for you with the current names and the suggested new names to make the manual work easier. So, you see how it works here. It can access my drive. It can search for anything in there. It can read this file. It can open it, but it can't rename it. This function is only available if the file is stored locally on your computer, at least for now. At the time I'm recording this video, renaming files on Google Drive still isn't possible. Now let's see if Opus 4.6 is really resource hungry. Let's go. I'll go into the settings here, and everything was reset here to record this video. I did a few interactions there in Cowork. I used up 22% of my limit. I have these extra credits that were given here by Anthropic. When they released Opus 4.6, I haven't used this one yet, but after doing 3 or 4 interactions here, Opus 4.6 used up 22% of my limit. So, pay attention to that. If you want to do any kind of interaction with the PC, it's good to use the model here, Sonnet 4.5, because it will use less of your limit. If you leave it on Opus 4.6 like I did here, your limit will run out quickly. So it's good to pay attention to that, because sometimes it's not even a very complex task. And Sonnet 4.5 is a great model. It will get the job done. So if you leave it here on 4.6, just be aware because your limit can run out quickly. So guys, if you have a PRO account, try it out. It's really a very useful tool. I still don't know how to use it properly. We're still learning what things Cowork can actually do on the computer. But this is a very promising start, because apparently it's something that Microsoft's Copilot should have been doing for a long time, but still doesn't. So now, with Cowork, I can manage my computer using artificial intelligence. So, what did you guys think of Cowork? Is it worth using? Does it help out in your daily workflow? Does it need more improvement? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next video. Bye.